battling depression with fitness. So a big warm welcome all the way from Kilkee, Evan Garvey. Lovely. You're very, very welcome. Lovely. So warm welcome, Evan.
Thanks.
And firstly, I'd like to thank Evan for agreeing to come on this evening to chat to myself. I know we're a little bit reluctant when I approached Evan. I saw a lovely Facebook post advertising Evan for a talk. Isn't that correct, Evan? So do you want to tell us a little bit about maybe ProFit just to begin with?
At the moment I'm doing a course online with ProFit Fitness. It's a gym instructor and personal training. And I have a conference to do on the 9th of April. It's I got to pick a topic, like I had to come up with a topic myself. So I decided to do how to battle depression with fitness.
Okay, do you know, we might just move a little bit closer, possibly to the good man, just to make sure. So just to recap there, you are completing a diploma with Pro Fitness. It's a worldwide organisation. It's an online training program, isn't it, for people that can I suppose, complete courses online for fitness. And you have this conference coming up on what date again?
It's the 9th of April.
The 9th of April.
There's 20 speakers altogether, and I'm on the last day, I think. So.
Lovely. So a few weeks away. So this is going to help you to prepare for that.
Hopefully,
And that conference, you actually have to speak for 1 hour, isn't that correct?
It's an hour, yeah.
An hour, yeah.
So that'll be tough.
This will be cinch in comparison. So, Evan, as part of our support talks, I was very interested to get your story and to hear your story because it's very inspiring, especially for young students and young adults and young teenagers out there that possibly could be finding during this pandemic and COVID a lot of anxiety, mood swings possibly, and could be also having bouts of depression and suffering mentally at the moment. So just, I suppose, to begin, Evan, you're 25 now. I hope you don't mind me saying
that.
When did you first start to realise that there was an issue with your mental health?
I think it was around the age of 16.
Okay.
When I was in school. I kind of started off then, but I didn't really know what it was back then. As I got older, I kind of realised that it was depression. And I suppose when I was in school, I was just trying to hide it. I never told anybody, and I always kept things to myself really, and I kept it for my family, for my brother. And as I got older, it got worse.
Okay. And when you say you had it, what was going on for you at that time? Let's say at 16.
My interest in everything was just zero. Like I didn't want to do anything. I'd come home from school and just wasn't happy, and it was just hurting inside really. I was struggling to sleep at night too. And I'd be overthinking everything, and it just messed my head really. Yeah.
And you were 16. Were you going through junior cert at that stage, or was it?
No, I would have been fourth year, I think.
Fourth year, yeah. And you were, I suppose, an avid player of football, Gaelic player with your club, St. Sinnans.
Since I could walk, I was kicking a ball really. So football was the main thing. Yeah. But I played every sport really, but. Football was the one.
And what was going on, let's say, I know having a discussion earlier in the week with you, Evan, you had illnesses, you had health issues, didn't you, at that time?
I started off, first it was glandular fever.
Okay.
And I suppose when I was going well at football at the time, and then I had that, and I was out for 8 or 9 months, and then it took another few weeks to get fit again.
So you went back playing after that?
Yeah, I went back playing. Yeah. And then I suppose it was my ankles. I've done my ankle ligaments 4 times, tendons as well, so they're destroyed. And then I came back from weeks out with those injuries. Had another injury in my shoulder, came back from that, and then I had meningitis.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So within a very short period of time, within 2 or 3 years, Evan, you had 4 major health issues to deal with at such a young age.
My eye as well. So I have a disease in my eye called keratoconus. When I was 16, I think it was why the depression got worse really, because I noticed blurred vision in my left eye when I was in hospital with meningitis. I noticed it was way worse, so I got an eye specialist to check it out, and I went in like not knowing what it was, and he says to me that I have this disease and I only have a certain amount of vision in my eye, and I have to give up all contact sport and I can't play ever again.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So from the moment that you could kick a ball to 17, 18, and to be told then after these series of illnesses and then blurred vision to be told you couldn't play anymore, how did that feel at the time?
That was awful. Like it took a while to sink in really, because I thought I could keep going, and everybody kept saying to me, you'll be grand, sure, you can play with your other eye, and I did it for a while, and like it got worse and it got harder to play, and people were putting like a lot of pressure on me to keep playing, but I decided to give it up. So I gave up for a year, and then I was kind of pressured into it again.
What age were you at that stage then, Evan? That's taking you up to about 20, is it?
I was up to around 20,
Yeah.
And be on nights out and stuff where like, you'd meet people and they'd always come up to you and say, come on back playing, and like put pressure on me really, but they weren't listening that I couldn't play, and that hurt a lot. Like,
okay, the impact inside was a lot of frustration, no doubt, Evan.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, and were you able to talk to any of your friends at that stage as to what was going on inside and how you were feeling?
No, I didn't talk to anybody. I kept it in. I tried to keep it from my brother too, because like I just didn't want to be ashamed, I suppose.
Do you think shame was holding it back?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. So, gosh, so no sport, and at that stage you had finished your leaving cert, you were in your early 20s, so where did life take you at that point then?
I decided to go to college, to LIT, but like I followed my friends really. We all went to the same place, we stayed in the same complex. I picked a course that I didn't even want to do really, so I was there, and I suppose depression I was bad at that stage. And it was coming up to Christmas, and as you do in college, like there's a lot of drinking going on, so I'd say that didn't help either. But I was struggling to get up out of bed, and I couldn't go to college, so I was sleeping until like 2 o'clock in the day and 3 o'clock in the day, and I couldn't get out of bed.
Pure lethargy.
And I was living with a guy, and he moved to America, so I was on my own for a few weeks, so it didn't help, I suppose.
Do you think things got a lot worse at that stage?
I decided one day my father rang me, and like I wouldn't answer the phone because he thought I was in college, but I answered this day, and he said, "Why aren't you in college?" And I said, "I don't feel up to it." And then he kind of gave out to me and he says, "We're not paying money for you to go to college to be lying in bed."
But so he had no idea.
He had no idea. It was then I decided that I'm not coming back, so I dropped out then after that. Okay,
so you probably came home for Christmas.
Yeah.
And just decided. And did you tell your parents at that stage, Evan, what was going on?
Yeah, it was around then as well. I started to have suicide thoughts, so I kept it all to myself. But one night, I went into my parents and I just told them that I was having suicide thoughts, and then my mother acted straight away, and she looked up people I could go to for help, and we found P at a house then.
And when you went into your parents' room that night to tell them, what was their initial reaction?
They were shocked. My mother jumped up out of bed.
Yeah. And no doubt quite upset as well, Evan. And for yourself opening up at that point, what impact did that have on you?
It took a weight off my chest, really. It felt good to get it out. I kept it in for way too long.
You probably have been carrying it 5 years at that stage.
Yeah.
Wow, so a relief.
Big relief, yeah.
Yeah. So just take us through what happened after that in terms of your mom. You said she rang. P
at a house in Limerick. So, we contacted them, and I went up once or twice a week for 6 to 8 weeks. And every time I was going up in the car, I was thinking, I don't want to go here now. But when I came out of there, I said to my mother, I'm after talking for an hour straight, and I didn't even realise.
Wow, so, for the first time about something that you had kept so hidden for so many people. Because I'd say, Evan, you're the type of personality to people outside and walking the streets, and you appear very positive. You look good, you look fine, but inside, you were really battling.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. And tell me, the first time that you went to Pieta House and you were on your way to your first appointment, what was that like?
Scary enough, I suppose. Like, I didn't know what it would be like. It was it's hard to go. Like, I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be depressed. I was thinking, why am I going through this?
Yeah.
Why me?
Yeah. And without getting into anything, I suppose, personal, the response of is it the council? You met a councillor at the time in Pieta. Just to give maybe, what was the approach, let's say, with the councillor? Because obviously it worked and it was of great benefit to you.
Yeah.
So just, I suppose, to share with people that might be listening in that are contemplating this next step. So when you went into the council, what kind of an approach were you received?
He was a very nice man. Like, he was very welcoming, and he sat down. He asked me a few questions starting off. Asked me why do I think I'm depressed or stuff like that, and I just started talking really, and he listened.
And he listened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life back then, and he helped too. He looked up things I could do, apprenticeships, courses.
Wow, so he gave
he gave help.
Career guidance to you, because just to go back and repeat the point that you made, and I think a lot of students in I suppose going through Leaving Cert year, they're very confused, and it's a lot of pressure on somebody to decide on a course to go to. I know myself, when I went to college, I copied my twin sister's CUA form, and I arrived in Galway and I had to ring my sister and say, Karen, what is this course about? I actually got one of her options, so thankfully I liked it. But it's the look of the draw, because I suppose you're so young at that stage. Yeah. You haven't gone out really working in different areas. So it was great to get that advice from.
Yeah, I think it was actually him as well that gave me the fitness side of things. That he was the one to put out the option out there, I think.
Okay.
So that's where it came from.
And had you experienced, let's say, the positive impact of fitness up to that point?
Yeah, I was always training. I never liked training. I hated training for football, but it had to be done. And I always loved it. I went to America one time, and my uncle taught me boxing and weightlifting. So ever since then, I've went down that route, and that's helped me so much.
And why do you think it works for you?
Just to release stress.
Okay.
Like, if I had a bad day at work, I could just go home. I could just punch a boxing bag.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I suppose all the good hormones, they say, and the release of the good endorphins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very good for you.
Yep. And Evan, so you, as a result of the guidance that you got from your counsellor, you investigated some fitness programs.
Yeah, I've always, ever since then, I've always thought about it. But I've decided to do an apprenticeship in cabinet making. I'm still doing it. But now, since I can't play sports, I've just said I'm going to go for it, and down the route now of fitness.
Because that was a big bang to be told that you couldn't play. Do you think that had a major impact in terms of your mental health at that point? Like, when you look back over the different illnesses that you had, you started at 16, you were playing up to that point. Life was it pretty okay up to that point, do you think?
It was good, yeah.
And then things started to go wrong. Your health, sport, losing your eyesight.
Yeah, that was the worst. Being told I couldn't play sports was
compounded.
It's terrible.
Yeah. So you're now nearly completed your ProFit
two
diploma.
classes left.
Fantastic. So April is your finishing date.
Yeah, towards the end. Yeah.
Brilliant. So what has life got in store for you now? What's the plan?
Well, I'm going to keep doing the cabinet making, but starting off, as I get better at the fitness side of things, I want to open up my own gym. So that's the plan. I want to open up a gym in Kilkee down the line.
Lovely. And in terms of, let's say, advice to somebody out there, I know we spoke on Sunday or on Saturday, you have friends that have battled depression.
Yeah,
and
I know a lot of people that have battled depression,
Yeah, you've intervened a couple of times before.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. How did you deal with that in that case? Let's say with your friend that really was in a bad place. What helped him? What helped him in those moments? Do you think when you were chatting?
I listened to him really.
Okay.
everyone needs to talk. Like, you can't hold it in. If you hold it in, it's just going to destroy your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to
And
speak.
It's the constant mental critic, isn't it,
Yeah,
within us?
yeah.
The mental critic. Yeah, yeah. And you have supported a number of your friends as well. They come to you, no doubt, for you to listen. I suppose listening really, Evan, is very, very important.
Yeah, it helps so much. Like, if you're suffering like that, the best thing you can do is speak to friends and family first. And if they can't help, you need to go further, like be at a house or someone that can help you that's trained in it.
Yeah.
But you definitely need to speak first and get it off your chest.
Yeah, yeah. And let's say for parents, because I know this is difficult for parents, and they may not even spot the behaviour of their children that is changing, because everyone is busy and we're distracted. And for parents out there that have children with depression and that are I suppose challenged at this time, any advice for parents as to how to support their son or daughter?
Just talk to them more, I suppose. And if they are suffering, go and get that help for them.
Yeah. I suppose the big thing is we're trying to fix. As a parent, I know I'm a parent myself, and if a child comes to you with a problem, you want to fix it straight away.
Yeah.
But I think in this scenario, would I be right in saying, Evan, the most important aspect is just the listening?
Yeah, it is.
Because you said it was like a weight lifted off your shoulders when you told your parents.
Yeah, I felt like my chest was closing in a lot, and I'd get panic attacks. But I felt like once I said that, I felt so much better.
Wow. So just the listening side. And the other aspect as well I'd love to look at is on your way home after your first session with the counsellor at Pieta House. How did you feel? I
felt good. I actually felt like I had options for my future.
Wow, yeah. Did you feel confusion was lifted a little bit?
Yeah, like going there, I didn't know where my life was going. I didn't know what was going to happen, down the line.
Yeah.
So.
And with your friends now, Evan, I'm sure you have a lot of friends in Kilkee that you've grown up with and they're playing sport, I suppose, at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're under pressure maybe sometimes in sport. What would you say to them in terms of, trying to approach a manager or a coach? Because we also spoke about this area. Sometimes it's difficult, isn't it, going to a coach and they may not understand initially what you're going through.
Yeah, you might want to say it to the coach, but you should definitely talk to your teammates and get it off your chest. They should help you out. But it would be good if your coach could listen to you too. And if a coach was trained in that side of things, where you could see if somebody was struggling really. You can see it in their eyes. The way they speak. You can see it really.
Brilliant. And going through school, if you could change an aspect of the school structure to help you when you were back at 16, what would you like to see changed?
I'd like to see maybe more work done by guidance counsellors. I feel that there's a jump there in school where you don't know what you're doing with your life, and then next week you have to just decide, I'm going to do this. But there's not a lot of options. If in school, if I was showed that I could have went down the line of fitness, I think I would have went down that line. So
you probably weren't aware during those latter years of secondary school that was actually one of your strong points.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that you could explore it more. And there's a lovely opportunity, I think, during transition year for students as well.
Yeah, well, I didn't have transition year in my school.
For now, yeah. So how do you keep positive from day to day? How do you mind and keep nurturing your mental health at the moment, Evan?
Just training, really. And then at home, sometimes, if I am feeling down, feeling stressed, I might meditate, listen to relaxing music in my headphones or something like that.
And how do you find meditation?
It's good, yeah.
Yeah.
You control your breathing. You actually realise that throughout the day, you mightn't be breathing properly at all. It's just all rushing
and shallow breathing. They say our rate of breathing is linked to the rate of our thinking. So if we slow down our breathing, our thinking starts to slow down, and that mental chatter. Yeah. So you're looking forward to your final stage of your course now, Evan?
I can't wait to get going. And
brilliant.
Once COVID clears, then I'll be flying it.
Excellent. So you hope to do personal training, one-to-one training sessions, is that correct?
One-to-one and group, whatever. Doesn't
and
matter.
to set up your gym, please God, in the near future.
Yeah.
So well done, Evan.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for speaking to me this evening. I think you're very inspiring, and I think you'll all agree that this is a guy to watch for the future. And after these talks, we'll be certainly putting up contact details for people, Pieta House, and indeed your own contact for your personal training. Indeed, maybe some feedback as well for people.
If anyone is struggling and they need a bit of advice, they can contact me on my Instagram or Facebook, whatever.
Brilliant. Yeah, because you're just
there.
Evan Garvey on your Facebook. And what are you on Instagram?
It's Evan Garvey Fitness on Instagram.
Lovely. Evan Garvey Fitness. Brilliant. So we're going to leave it there, and we have the lovely musicians back for just a couple of tunes before we have our final speaker, Michael O'Doherty. And thank you. Thank you, Evan.
No bother.
Brilliant.